In this video, I'm basically going to be talking to you about how to manipulate reality. Manipulate, bro, which means I don't care honestly how long this whole video is going to be. I'm basically going to be spitting everything I know on how you can manipulate your reality. Now, before a lot of you guys that are Muslim, you're going to be talking to me and saying things like, only Allah can change your reality. You can't change your reality. Your life is basically destined. It's written. I'm not going to be saying things that are the opposite of that. You'll see what I mean if you just watch the whole video with an open mind. And by the way, one last thing, this whole video is gonna be about I'm not gonna try to be funny, even though it could happen. I'm not trying to entertain you, change my tonality of my voice to keep your attention. I might do that. But listen, this video is purely only value. I'm just gonna be giving you the value and that's it. So if you have 0% attention span, I mean, you can just go back to TikTok, bro. This is not going to benefit you. But if you have the attention span, you'll know that if you actually just give me your time, bro, give me your time, you'll notice that you'll leave this video with so much power, with so much energy, knowing that, dang, bro, the entire responsibility is in my hands and I can actually do whatever I want because this is the reality. Now, two things you're going to have to understand. Two things. The very first one is that reality is affected simply by observing. Now, if you believe that, oh no, stuff like that are not even true, how are you going to observe something and then change it? Listen, so here's the thing. So in science, because I come from a science background, right? So we got to give you the proof. So the term observer effect means that the act of observing will influence the thing that you're observing. This is the observer effect. Now, this has actually been proven through quantum physics. They've done a lot of what's it called? Studies, experiments, just to know if this is actually true. Now, this does go back to just literally the photon, the particle. So if you see right here, there's a picture that says that if you don't observe the thing that you're observing, then the thing, the particle, is just a wave. Things are just waves. But then as soon as you observe it, you're basically giving it life. Now, again, is it you that's giving it life? No, Habibi, it's not you. But just trust me, when you watch this whole video, you're just going to be like, oh, okay, now I actually understand that it's not me. It's not the me, but it is at the same time me. Just focus, okay? No need to have any conclusions right now. But this is actually beautiful, bro, because this means that just the fact that you can observe something, that means that you can change it. And by the way, this is so true to the point that even when I was younger, I remember it's my PS2, when I put a game in it, if I know that the game is not gonna work and then I'm just looking at it and then you see this sound right here, I'm just gonna play it, bro. This sound right here, bro, this sound, look at this. Oh, every time I used to watch this and I'm like, no, see, right now it's not gonna work. Actually, no, it could work. When the game, when the startup takes way too long to when it takes this long, that means it's not gonna work. But then when it goes way too fast, that means it's not gonna work. And I remember it's every time I used to watch it, I would just be like, no. But then when I don't watch it, something happens, something just different happens, which is actually crazy. And by the way, there is this guy right here who I follow on Twitter. When you go on his website right here, his website is actually very interesting, but just skip everything. He has some very interesting thing that I saw, but his website just takes way too long. So just bear with me, okay? So when you go on his website, you can see he's got some pretty interesting things that, let me just stop this actually. He's got some very interesting things that not a lot of people know about. So for example, it's raw eggs equals shampoo, which I talked about. But there's this thing that I was so interested in, which is this one right here. Can you affect random chance? So when you click on this website, you will see it's okay, so this is a website just about numbers. Now, he says right here, it's your mind can increase the numbers. Try to click the button while you exhale through your nose and focus on how high your numbers will be. And then he's to the right, you can see it's how much the deviation is or the probability. And then it's the more you look at it and you try to think of a higher number, you'll get a higher number. So let's actually just try it right now. 54, 208, 194. Okay, now I messed up, bro. It's but still the deviation is still pretty high. Now let's just say I'm not gonna watch it, right? So I'm just not gonna watch it. Okay, did I even click it? I think I clicked it, bro, but it's a weak number. But let's just not watch it again. Hold on, let me just, yeah. That's a high number! But it actually went down still. So it's pretty interesting, honestly. Just go on this website, try to just observe it and click the button and try to think of a higher number and try to get it as high as possible. Now, what's gonna happen is that as you're watching it, you're gonna have thoughts of like, no, but number's gonna be small, number's gonna be big. It's just a fun experiment to do. But this is just to show you that reality is affected by simply observing. Simply observing. Now, there's a couple of things that you have to know just to basically cement this idea in your mind. So the first thing is that you are not a bag floating in the wind. Like, you know how this dumb girl is like, do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to, bro, these people are saying these words just to basically condition you into feeling like you're someone that's worthless. But that's not true. Don't even listen to this music. I know it's a bit off track, but don't even listen to this music. So first of all, you are not a plastic bag floating through the wind. That's not who you are. You actually have a say into what your life can become. And what's so beautiful is that even sometimes you have a say into what other people's lives can become. It's just you kind of forgot that you have this power within you. The second thing is that, again, you have this power inside you, but you forgot. But the thing is that if you don't exercise this power that you have, what's going to happen is that unconsciously you're going to exercise it. So unconsciously you're going to be doing it. So you'll basically be in a situation in your life that you got into unconsciously. And then if you're able to just go back throughout the times and just see what were you thinking throughout all these times, you'll notice that the entire time you were thinking negatively, and that's why you reached a negative state. And the other thing too is that if you don't exercise this power that you have, other people are going to be doing it for you. Because again, I told you, you can affect other people's lives as well by simply just observing, which means other people can affect your life by simply just observing. Why do you think this whole evil eye thing is real? When you have enough jealousy for someone, you're gonna ruin their life. If someone tells you that they've done something like they're making a pretty good amount of money, right? And then you look at them and you're just basically filled with hatred and jealousy. You just destroyed that person's life. But then if you just look at them and then you're just like, Allahumma barak, Allah give them more blessings, give them more of that thing that they're getting. That means you just bless them. You literally just bless them. That's why they say, don't say mashallah when you see that someone has like a cute baby or a lot of money or a nice job or a nice house. Don't say mashallah. Mashallah does not mean you're blessing them. Say Allahumma barak, because when you say that, you're blessing them. So for those of you who are Muslim, you know what I mean. But for those of you who are not Muslim and you see someone who's like doing better than you and all that stuff, just send blessings to them. Blessings are real. Send blessings to them. Not only will they like not get negatively affected by you, but you will also become like better. You'll get more of what you want. And because they say it's like if you make dua for someone, if you just make a good dua, even the angels make dua for you. So this is the thing. Also understand that, Habibi, you are the soul. You are not the body. Understand that there's a thing in the Quran that says that before all of us were born, like Allah asked us, who is your Lord? And we all said, Allah, it's you. You are our Lord. Which means that every single human has testified that Allah is the Lord. Allah is the God. There is basically no other God that we should be putting our attention to except Allah, the only God. Which means you innately know this within you, whether you're an atheist, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, it doesn't matter who you are. Innately you know that there is a God that's running the whole thing. Which means that before this body even came to you, you were like near that God. You came from that God, which means like you are the soul. This body that you have right now is very temporary. The soul is the thing that's eternal. So you're basically an immortal being inside a mortal body. That's all who you are. So the real you will never die. You will never die. The body is gonna die. And so I feel like at some point, I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen even after death, to be honest, bro. But I just have this feeling that as soon as someone dies, like as soon as you're dead, your awareness is just simply gonna expand so much. It's like you're just gonna expand. So I don't know how true that is, depending on if you've lived a good life or not, because it says that in the Quran, if you've lived a good life, that means the soul is going to be relaxed, it's going to be good. So it's even the way it's going to come out is going to be like pleasant. So it's going to come out and basically become in a pleasant state. But if you've lived a bad life, that means that it's going to be hard to basically get your soul out, and you'll feel some pain. But I feel like those of us that are good, as soon as we're dead, we're just going to be pure awareness. And I find that beautiful, because I'm like, it's actually crazy, because it's just death is the only way to get beyond this mind that we have, which is why they say die before you die. So die before you die, which means learn how to get beyond this mind that you have right now, just to basically know that you have all the power before you even die. Because once you miss out on this power that you guys have, you'll feel so much regret. So this is the thing, understand that you are the soul inside a body. Now the other thing too is that the physical It cannot manipulate reality. So when you say that I cannot change things, you are right, but at the same time, you're wrong. Because when you say that you can't change things, sure, this can change things. This head cannot change things. But the one that's like moving this thing, like moving it, like you know how I'm moving my hands right now? The one that's in control of the stuff, the one that's aware of the stuff. There's a picture that's basically like they have an eye and they have someone that's inside the eye, the one that's observing everything. The one that's observing everything is the real you. So that's the soul. The soul is the one that can change reality. The body cannot change reality. And understand too, everything that you see in the real world, like the physical world, it all came from the unseen. So things start in the unseen and then they become seen. And also, it's beautiful too. I don't have a picture to show you this, but I'm just gonna use my hands to show you this. Imagine there's like a this is the world, right? So this right here is heaven, this right here is hell. So right now we're like maybe right here. This right here is like matter, right? So this right here is the physical. That's why everything in the world that you see right now is all physical. But the more you go up, the more things become spiritual. The more it's like the soul is the soul, which basically means it's like the more you go down, the more you become matter. So the more you go down, the more dense you become. And the higher you go up, the less dense you become. That's why it's like, even just think of like real matter, solid, liquid, gas. The higher you go up, the more gaseous it is. So what I mean by that is that again, like the higher you go up, the more spiritual you become, which means things start from like from upstairs right here, the spiritual realm, and then when they go back, they become more physical. And this is why in the Quran Allah says that your rizq is not here, it's in the sky. What does that mean? I remember I used to like I even I asked someone like what does that even mean? He's like, oh, because you know when Allah sends down the rain, farms they start getting crops and then you can sell the crops. Like, bro, there's such a small explanation of what this big ayah means. This big verse that Allah gave us is like, what does it truly mean, bro? It means things become like things upstairs, they're all spiritual. But then when they become physical. But when they're upstairs, that's when things start. So you cannot have something here unless you make it start upstairs first, which means spiritual is where things start, physical is where things end up. What does that also mean? So just to cement it, spiritual is the cause, physical is the effect. What that means, bro, is that your state of being is the most important thing to change reality. And this is so true. My dad has a favorite soccer team, right? He's like, whenever I watch this team play soccer and I'm in a bad mood, they always do bad. They always lose. They always give me the result that I hate. But every time I watch these people, when I'm in a good mood, they always win. So he actually predicts, he's like, bro, my mood is so bad today, like I have a headache and I'm so annoyed at everybody, they're not gonna win. And they never win. But whenever he's like, I even see him as like he's happy, he's playing with my nephews and nieces and stuff, and he's all happy and like relaxed and joyful and excited, then they win. Which brings me actually to my next point, which is the excitement, this joy, this peace is the true you. So this is basically like your natural self of being. If you notice that you're living throughout the day and you're very tight, you feel guilty, you feel annoyed, you feel bored, you feel all these like negative feelings, the ones that are down. If you ever feel those feelings, that just means right now you're not being your true self, because your true self is the one that's always joyous. And think about it too, it's like, why is it your true self is the one that's always joyous? Because your true self is the soul, and the soul, where did it come from? It came directly from Allah. Like if we were actually there when Allah asked us who is your Lord, that means we're like the proximity of us and Allah was actually pretty close, which means if you were close to Allah, bro, that means like you were the happiest you've ever been. And that's why people, whenever they get back to Allah, they feel the happiest. Anyone that becomes Muslim, automatically they're just like, bro, I found my true purpose. I found my happiness. This is exactly who I am, and this is exactly what I want. Because innately everybody surrenders, submits to this one Lord, to this one God. Which means when you're naturally just being in the state of like joy, peace, love, when you're in that state, that means you're exercising your true self. So when you're in that state, and then you observe things, things automatically become good. This is exactly what you do. If you're trying to change your life, become in a good state first, and then do the things that you want. When you're in a good state of being, like a love state of being, a joyful state of being, and then you do things, that's when things always work out. People that you think are lucky, they're not lucky. They're just always in a good state. You can never ever be lucky, but you're in a bad state. Never, bro, never. Like, it just can't happen. It's just against the laws of the universe. Now, if you're gonna be asking me, how do I become in a good state? Like, I'm mad. How do I become good and stuff like that? First of all, if you're in a bad state, don't worry. Doesn't mean anything. It's okay. You can always get back. But what I noticed is that when you stop thinking. So I should actually just write that right here. So being in a state of no thought will eventually put you in a good state. I actually noticed that. This is actually so true, bro. When you stop thinking, it's true. When you stop thinking, that's when you'll notice it's like your true self is automatically going to start coming out. And so it's important for you to learn how to stop thinking. So there's a thing that I use. It's called flash meditation. Flash meditation. All it takes is just 10 seconds, bro. So for 10 seconds throughout the day, you should do this like at least like 100 times a day, bro. 10 seconds throughout the day. Just drop all thoughts. Drop all thoughts about who you are, what your name is, what your job is, what you do, what husband, wife. You're none of that. Just drop everything. Everything that you think of, drop it all. So on the outside, the way it's gonna look like is just this. That's all it's gonna look like. Just drop everything. So even the fact that I'm recording a video right now, which is in my mind, I'm supposed to drop that. Just drop everything. Now when you drop everything, so even like an easy way to do that is just when I'm sitting right now, like feel your butt on the floor or on the chair. Feel like the clothes touching your thing, your nose. Do you realize like your nose, you can see it, but you're just never aware of it because you're so focused on the world. Just drop everything and just feel your body living in this present moment right now. Feel the breath that you're breathing. Just like focus on the breath for a bit. When you become in this state, that means right now you've dropped all thoughts. Now, if you ask me, it's like, okay, what do I do after that? Nothing! Don't do anything after that. Just the fact that you dropped everything, stay in that state. No need to do anything. The fact that you thought of what should I do, that means the mind was back for a bit. And so once you realize, oh, that's the mind that's asking me, what should I do? Just realize that. Just be aware of that and just keep being. That's all. That's literally all you have to do. Keep being. And then the more you do this, the more you'll notice that naturally your true self is going to arise. Habibi, you realize that your true self is the one that's always happy, the one that's always joyful, the one that's always filled with love. Like your heart is filled with love. That's why there's a hadith too. It's like it says, if the heart is bad, everything else in the body is bad. Like Muhammad ﷺ was not talking about your cardiovascular heart, even though even that is true. But he was talking about the spiritual heart. So if you're always feeling like you're in a bad state, you're guilty, you're annoyed, you're jealous, you're angry, all of this stuff, everything else is going to be bad. People that are always angry, they're always going to have so many forms of diseases. So many forms of diseases. But then when you stop, or not even stop, when you go back to the true you, the one that's always like submitted to Allah. Because understand too, like your soul is always with Allah. But then when you just get past the mind, that's why they say die before you die. Get past the mind. And then drop all the thoughts, your true self naturally is going to arise. Now, when you're in that state, now go and do work. Now go and look at things. You'll notice that now it's almost like everything you do is all going to work out. And then also, when you're in that state where everything you touch is just going to be working out and it's all just like your touch is just a touch of gold, when you're in that state, your mind's going to come. It's going to tell you, hold on a minute, let me figure out why is everything working out right now, but let me just stop and just observe, not analyze why is everything working out right now. When you start doing that, then things start to fall apart. Why is that? Because now you're back to the mind. And so again, it's like when everything is working out, that's because Allah's flowing through you. Allah is literally flowing through, like the will of Allah is flowing through you, which means it's like you can't explain how things are working out because Allah is the one that's doing it. How are you going to explain the things that Allah is doing through you? You can't explain it, bro. You literally can't explain it. Sometimes I have videos where I said some crazy things. Even when I go back to them, I'm like, bro, this guy's on fire. This guy's talking like some beautiful things. And then I'm like, wait, but who taught me these things? I'm like, I don't freaking know. But then when I try to analyze it, I'm like, wait, did I read this book? Maybe it came from this. Maybe when I start doing that, things start to fall apart. I'm just like, wait, now I'm actually lost. I don't know what to do anymore. But then I'm like, wait. Realize that Allah's the one that's doing it. And so it's like, wait, what did I do after that? I just dropped all the thoughts. I put my trust in Allah. That's all I did. And then I started spitting truth and stuff like that. So this is the thing. your natural state of being, if you want to reach that, just get into a state of no thought, habibi, no thought. The other thing too is that if you're finding it hard to become like that, do istighfar. Istighfar. So let me just write it right here. Do istighfar. Now, what is istighfar? It's just when you sit down and you're just like, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. It's very important throughout the day. Just leave 10 minutes, sit by yourself, looking at no one even looking at you, and just do astaghfirullah. Just call it a meditation, whatever. Just do dhikr. Sit down and just do astaghfirullah. Say astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah from the heart. Not just from the tongue, but from the heart. Like truly try to like think of that Allah is watching me right now. Allah is literally watching me in every single moment. And Allah is watching me, thinking about Allah watching me right now. It's just always like you're always being in the present moment right now. And keep doing it, you'll notice that naturally, bro, your real self is going to come out. This joy is going to come out. This love is going to come out. And then from that state, go and do whatever you want to do. Go and write down your goals. Go and start visualizing things that you want. Go and do anything you want. From that state, you'll get everything you want. And then it's like when you start thinking, wait, but how am I going to get the thing that I want? Who is asking, how am I going to get the thing that I want? It's your mind that's asking that. So realize that it's the mind asking that and get beyond that. And then all you do, Habibi, is just you know what you want. So let's just say when you try to manipulate reality, you want like a beautiful house, right? Be in a good state. Be in a good state of being and keep this beautiful house visualized in your mind. And then don't do anything else. Things are naturally going to start arising. This is why he says, have tawakkul. Have tawakkul in Allah. Stop thinking that you have to do everything. Allah's going to flow through you. I don't care if you're such a good YouTuber, because sometimes I think I'm like, oh, I'm such a good YouTuber, even though I don't think I am. And then I'm like, oh, all I have to do is just keep making videos, and then like things are gonna, like my subscribers are gonna go up, this is gonna go up. But that's not what you do. It doesn't matter how experienced you are in whatever thing that you want to do. If you're so experienced, but you have no tawakkul, the tawakkul I just talked about, nothing's gonna work out. So even the ones that are no experience, but they have a bunch of tawakkul, they're gonna do a lot better than the people that have a bunch of experience in whatever field you're into. So tawakkul should be like the highest thing that you have. And by tawakkul, I mean you know what you want, but you're having no thought on it. Like you're not thinking, how am I supposed to do it? Don't worry about how. Allah's gonna do it through you. Allah's gonna put the inspiration in you. And then when you get this inspiration inside you, go and act upon it. Then you'll know it's like, dang, bro, like how did I even do the thing that I just did? It's like it came out of nowhere. This is how dua it gets accepted, by the way. This is how it gets accepted. An angel is not just gonna magically come and then do the things that you want to do. It's you, but Allah has to flow through you. Like the will of Allah has to flow through you. And the only way that's gonna happen is if you get beyond the mind, die before you die, become in a state of no thought, and then you'll know if you've reached the state when naturally you're just happy. You just feel love. You just feel joy. You just feel peace naturally. And then in that state, then go and do the things that you want. This right here, Habibi, I'm telling you, like this right here is how to get the things that you want. Even though when you're in that state of no thought, of just like a good state of being, what's going to happen is that you'll feel like you don't want anything anymore because at this point you have everything. Because when you're back with Allah, right, how are you going to want anything? Because you already have everything. And that's what, if you actually think about it, this is all what salah is. Salah. Like when you're doing, because you're using also the body, the mind, and the spirit, you combine all of these things together, you'll naturally become in a good state of being. Because think about it, you're supposed to actually, by the way, when you do salah, you're supposed to become in a state of no thought. Because you're only supposed to be focusing on the words that you're saying, the acts that you're doing, like the action, like the ruku and the sujood, and that's it. So when you're in that state, when you're doing the salah, you'll reach this state almost instantly if you're doing it right. This is the beauty of Islam. This is the stuff that I just wish. I was going to say I wish that someone's teaching it, but I'm teaching it. This is the stuff that you guys need to know. You do this stuff, it's like, okay, when you become broke, when you have no money, when you have nothing, all you have to do to get back is just do this stuff. And then submit your will to Allah. Whatever inspiration Allah gives you, submit to it, surrender to it. Then you'll know it's like whatever you do, it doesn't matter what you do, by the way. Like if you want to make the money, it doesn't matter how you do it. Forget about the how. Allah's going to make you do it. So it doesn't matter whether if it was like drop shipping or YouTube or I don't know, washing cars. Allah's just gonna make it flow through you in the best way possible with something that suits you. And almost like in the most effortless way and the most easiest way, and in a way where it requires almost like no issues after it, no problems, no effort. It's gonna be beautiful. So if you think that you can't ever do such things where you change reality, where you get the things that you want with no effort, with no problems, with no anything, you're right, you can't. Allah can. You can't, Allah can. So that's why when you get into a state of no thought, Allah's the one that's doing it, not you. You're just doing things, you're just moving your hands. And if you guys don't believe me, there's a whole hadith about that where it says that when my slave gets close to me through the obligatory acts, like through salah, which I told you, salah can get you into this state. Through salah, and then through like the super, I don't know how to say that word, like the voluntary actions, then I will become the hands in which he touches things, the eyes in which he sees, the ears in which he hears, the feet in which he walks with. Now can you come and tell me it's like, no, but you can't manipulate reality that way? Again, it's not you. It's Allah that's doing it through you. This is the beauty of it, man. So I hope this explained everything on how to manipulate reality. Manipulate. And then I wish that some of you guys will actually do this thing that I'm saying right now. Come back to me and just tell me, it's like, how did this even change your life? For me, this changed my life massively. Massively, bro. So I want to know, what is it going to do to you guys that are watching? But I hope this was helpful. If it was, man, just let me know.